They said she was just a rookie, a weak little human in a galaxy of monsters. But now, every alien fleet is running from her memory, buried deep inside her mind. Holds the power to end the war. But to unlock it, she'll have to give up everything. Her past, her identity. Maybe even her soul. And just when she thinks she's ready, she finds out the truth. They never wanted her to remember. Before this ends. One final question must be asked. Was she the weapon all along? Asterisk, they laughed at her the moment. She stepped off the shuttle. To them, she was weak, small, human, a joke. But they didn't know what Earth had sent. And by the time they found out, it would be too late. Asterisk arrival, the Zarn Dominion Military Academy was the most feared training ground in the galaxy. Floating high above the gas giant XRN-7, the Academy was carved from dark alloy and hung like a dagger in orbit. Only the strongest, smartest, and most ruthless cadets from over 100 alien empires were chosen to attend. On this day, new batch of recruits arrived. Giant transports lined the landing deck. From one, a group of insectoid Krix soldiers marched out in perfect formation. From another, the warlike Brackens stomped down the ramp, their bone armor clacking as they roared in laughter. And from the shadows, the sleek, biomechanical Varens moved silently like hunting machines with eyes that never blinked. Then, a small shuttle landed. The ramp hissed open, and a single human stepped out. She was short, barely reaching the shoulders of the others. Her frame looked fragile. She wore basic black armor with the Earth insignia stamped on the chest. Her dark hair was tied back tight, and her face was unreadable. Lieutenant Kara Voss. The other cadets stared in confusion. Then, the whispers began. Is that a human? She's alone? Why send one of them here? One of the Brackens, a hulking beast named Droth, snorted and stepped forward. From his tray of protein rations, he picked up a bloody meat chunk and tossed it at her boots. Lunch for the weakling. I'll need it. He grinned, sharp, teeth flashing. Your bones will break on day one. Kara didn't flinch. She didn't look down. She didn't speak. She simply stepped over the meat. Eyes locked forward and continued walking. Mockery in the ranks. Inside the academy, the recruits were assigned barracks. Kira's room was a cramped cubicle between two alien quarters, both much larger and filled with high-tech equipment. Hers had only a cot, a locker, and a screen. Later, during orientation, the High Commander, a six-armed, crystal-skinned alien, named Jellic, addressed the group. Welcome to the Crucible, he said. This is where we break you, burn the weak, forge leaders worthy of war. He scanned the crowd. His eyes landed on Kara. A long pause. Then, he moved on. In the first training exercise, recruits ran through a gravity chamber designed to increase weight by 200%. The insectoids adapted instantly. The Brackens sprinted through it with joy. Kara struggled. Every step was like lifting her own body through concrete. They laughed. She's already breaking. Send her back to Earth. By the time she finished the course, the others were already resting. Kara's face was soaked in sweat, her breathing sharp, but her eyes remained cold and focused in hand-to-hand drills. She was thrown across the mat by a four-armed lizard beast named Varek. He sneered down at her. Soft bones, no claws, no tail. What are you good for? Kara stood up without answering. She didn't ask for help, didn't look for sympathy, just squared her stance and got ready for the next round. Every night, she returned to her room with bruises, but she said nothing, no complaints. No reports, only silence and study. The ranking system own evening. During mealtime in the academy mess hall, Kara sat alone, her tray untouched. Screens above the room displayed the galactic military rankings. The Council of Dominant Species controlled it, a system used to classify each race's value in warfare. Humans sat near the bottom. Above them were dozens of races, even herbivores. The Varns chuckled as they saw the list. Earth still crawling around in mud, I see. Why are they even allowed here? Kara didn't argue. She didn't defend her species. She just watched, listened, noticed everything the way. Varric favored his left leg after practice. The way. The Cricks spoke in code when instructors walked by. The way the food trays were separated by toxin levels for each species except hers. She was learning, not just their moves, but how they thought. The Academy's secret behind the training halls. Deep below the central command deck was a door labeled Section X9. No cadets were allowed inside. Rumors said it was where real testing happened, the kind that didn't appear on the official schedule. On the 7th day of training, during a thunderstorm outside the Academy's atmosphere shield, the door opened for the first time. Alarms didn't sound. No announcement was made, but a message appeared on every cadet's datapad. Cadet trial initiated. Volunteer needed. Everyone paused. Silence swept the training yard. Varric hissed, stepping back. The brackens snarled. Even the insectoids lowered their antennae in fear. Whatever this was, it wasn't normal. The instructor overseeing the group, a cybernetic alien named Vecfor, turned to the recruits. Step forward if you wish to be tested. No second chances. No retreat. No one moved. Then Kara stepped forward, calm. No hesitation. Just one sentence. I volunteer. Vecfor stared. Human. You understand the risk? Kara nodded. Yes. Then enter the chamber. The chamber Kara walked, alone through dark hallways until she reached the doors of Section X9. The lights above the frame turned red. A massive security drone scanned her. Doors hissed open. Inside was a massive circular chamber, cold, dim, and echoing. In the center, a cage opened, and from it, something emerged. It was over 10 feet tall, with black armor-like skin that shimmered. Like oil, its body was lean but muscular, its claws razor-sharp. And its eyes, if they could be called that, glowed with violet rage. The predator, bred for war, designed to kill. The same beast that had torn through Bracken platoons in past wars. It was meant to destroy her. The walls shimmered with a force field. The door behind her sealed shut. There was no way out. The beast snarled. The crowd of instructors and commanders watched from the upper viewing platform. Behind reinforced glass, the cadets watched from screens in the training hall. VAR UK smirked. She's dead. But then, something happened. The unexpected Kara didn't move. She didn't scream. She didn't draw a weapon. She simply stood. Calm, like she was waiting for something. The predator stopped. Its growl faded. It sniffed the air, took one step forward, then another, and lowered its head. The room fell into total silence. Even the instructors stared in shock. The beast, bred to rip her apart, was bowing to her. "This is impossible," one of the alien officers whispered. "Did she control it?" She bonded. Vecfor slammed a fist on the console. "Shut down the chamber now." But Kara spoke, her voice steady. "No need." She turned her head slightly toward the glass wall. "He listens to me." Back in the training hall, the cadets watched in stunned silence. Varric's smug smile had vanished. The Brackens exchanged worried glances, and the insectoids. They started whispering again, but this time they weren't laughing. From the upper decks, Jellic the High Commander watched with narrowed eyes. He turned to his aide. "What is she?" The aide swallowed hard. "A human, sir." Jellic stared. "Back at the screen?" "No, not just that." Inside the test chamber, Kara reached out a hand. The predator gently pressed its clawed hand into hers. The screen cut to black. Asterisk, she walked into the chamber alone. ... And the galaxy's deadliest predator bowed. They thought it was a glitch, a trick. But the truth, what they had locked behind that door, was something only she could control. And what happens next will change everything. Asterisk shocked silence. When Kara walked out of the test chamber, the entire academy froze. No one spoke, no one moved. Behind her, Predator followed slowly, silently, like a loyal hound shadowing its master. Its long claws dragged softly across the metal floor. Its glowing eyes scanned the crowd. The cadets backed away. Some hissed, some growled, others just stared, wide-eyed. How? Is that even possible? Someone whispered. Vayer UK clenched his fists. His scaled face twisted in confusion and hate. She used tech. It was rigged. Has to be. The Bracken instructor from earlier, Vec 4, spoke into his com. Isolate her now. Lock down Section X9. Get Command's approval. But it was already too late. The footage had been live. Every commander, every faction, every student, they all saw it. Interrogation. Kara was escorted to a secure chamber, deep in the command wing. 4 alien officers watched her from across the table, each from a different empire. The insectoid general clicked his mandibles. The crystalline Zarn officer tapped his fingers in irritation. A neural cybernetic observer buzzed softly, recording everything. And finally, Commander Jellic stared in cold silence. Kara said nothing. What weapon did you use to control the subject? The Zarn asked. None. Is this prearranged? No, explained the creature's behavior. Kara leaned forward. He remembered me. They blinked. Impossible. That predator was grown in this facility. Kara nodded slowly, but its DNA wasn't. That species once fought humans, or studied them, quietly, for years. You saying you were ... trained for this? No. Then what are you saying? I'm saying, Earth sent someone who understands monsters. The flashback first clue inside Kara's memory. Years earlier, Earth Command Center, Antarctica, she stood in a deep lab chamber, watching a recording. An apex predator, identical to the one she just faced, tore through a Martian rebel base in 3 minutes. No alien weapon had stopped it, until someone on the screen. A human in prototype armor simply spoke a phrase in an unknown frequency. The beast halted, frozen. We don't need to fight it. We just need it to follow. In the next screen, Kara volunteered for a black-level bond experiment, the Psilink Initiative. She passed. Everyone else died. The reaction the day after the test, Kara was released back into training. She returned to the yard. This time no one laughed. Some stared. Some stepped back. One cadet, from a lesser-known aquatic race, bowed slightly as she passed. But Varric, he wasn't done. He blocked her path. That thing obeyed you. Fine. But in a real fight, you'll still bleed like the rest of us. At Kara. Met his eyes. Then don't fight me. The predator standing behind her let out a soft growl. Varric stepped back. For the first time, he hesitated. The predator's name later, in her quarters. Kara stood with the predator. It crouched silently by the wall like a watchful sentry. She placed her hand on its head. You were made to kill, she whispered. But that's not who you are anymore. Its violet eyes blinked. Then it did something no one expected. It clicked, a soft sound. Repeated. Kara frowned. You have a name, don't you? It clicked again, slower this time. Srowlet growled, low and satisfied. Okay, Srowl, she said, sitting beside it. Let's make them regret laughing. The secret observers all swear deep. Inside a black site near the academy, 2 alien officers watched the footage again. The bonding, the calmness, the control. One, a cloaked figure with silver skin, leaned forward. She's the variable. The other nodded. We have to contain her, if others follow her lead. No, the first replied. We watch. For now, this could change the war. They turned to a live feed of Kara training with Sral. Running, sparring, learning each other's movements like dance partners. The predator wasn't just obeying. It was protecting. Training. Day 12 combat trials. The Academy hosted its first combat tournament. Teams were chosen randomly. Weapons. Allowed no killing in theory. Kara was assigned a team with 2 cadets who wanted nothing to do with her. One Bracken grumbled the whole time. The other, a Crix, clicked disapproval. Varric's team stood across the arena. The match began. Kara didn't move first. She waited, calculated, watched the terrain, the patterns, the speed of movement. When Varric charged, her teammates panicked, but Kara stepped forward. Now, Thrall burst from cover, faster than anything the crowd had ever seen, with 3 precise strikes. He disarmed 2 opponents. Kara moved like water, dodging, redirecting, using alien strength against them. Even without claws or brute strength, she won. Later that night while Kara slept, a transmission came through encrypted channels. A Varren officer read it alone in his quarters. It said, "Terminate the human, quietly. Do not fail." He looked at the screen at Kara's still image. Thrall was beside her, eyes open, watching, waiting. Asterisk, they mocked her, called her soft, slow, and weak. But now, they keep their distance, because the predator they used to fear now obeys her every command. And when fear takes hold of the elite, they stop laughing, start planning. Murder. Asterisk. No more laughter. The Academy halls weren't the same anymore. Cadets who used to laugh when Kira walked by now fell silent. Conversations stopped when she entered a room. Some even turned and walked the other way, not because she was stronger, but because of the creature beside her, single quotes, raw. The apex predator followed Kara everywhere, never leashed. Yet he obeyed her with a kind of loyalty the other cadets didn't understand. In the mess hall, Kara sat alone. But this time, no one threw food. No one mocked her. No one dared. A young aquatic species cadet, covered in shimmering scales, approached and asked quietly, "Are all humans like you?" Kara didn't smile. She didn't brag. "No," she replied. "I volunteered." The shadows whisper across the campus. Whispers began to spread. "She's dangerous. She controls one of them. What if she can control more?" Deck! Still bruised from the combat trial loss, slammed his fist against a locker. "This is a joke. She doesn't belong here." Squad mate leaned in close. "Then do something." He saw the message. "Orders are clear. She has that thing with her." "Then separate them. Strike when she's alone." The assassination attempt that night. Kara was in her room. Thrall lay curled near the entrance, silent but alert. The lights flickered, then went dark. Kara's eyes opened. She didn't panic. She reached under her pillow and gripped a small blade. Standard issue. Outside her door, footsteps approached. No alarm, no patrol. Whoever it was had clearance. Then the door hissed open. Thrall leapt forward with a roar. 2 figures rushed in, cloaked in dark armor. Moving fast, one aimed for Kara's throat. The other tried to pin Thrall with an electronet, but Kara wasn't asleep. She rolled off the bed, slashed upward, and struck the attacker's arm. Sparks flew. Blood followed. Thrall tore through the net like paper. The second attacker screamed in seconds. Both lay unconscious, one bleeding, one twitching from the shock of a failed neural disruptor. Kara stood over them, breathing hard, but calm. "They're not cadets," she muttered. "They're professionals." Command response and emergency alarm finally triggered. Security drones flooded the room. Instructors arrived minutes later. The attackers were scanned, both identified as off-world. Mercenaries. Commander Jellic himself arrived. He looked down at the bodies, then at Kara. "You were supposed to be under observation." Kara nodded. "I noticed, but I prefer protection." Overwatching, she nodded at Thrall. The predator sat silently, but blood dripped from his claws. "This wasn't a training accident," Kara added. "This was a hit." Jellic didn't deny it. Perhaps it was a test. Kara narrowed her eyes. "You're afraid of what I might become?" "No," Gellic said. We're afraid of what you already are. Punishment or promotion. At the next day's gathering, all cadets were called into the main atrium. Screens played the security footage. The failed assassination, Kara. Through mercenaries like paper. The crowd was silent. Then, without warning, Gellick addressed the entire academy. Lieutenant Kara Voss, of Earth, he said, voice echoing. Proven herself not only capable in combat, but indispensable in matters beyond this academy. He paused, then looked down. From this moment forward, she is no longer a guest. She is a full-ranked cadet of the Dominion Elite Corps. Gasps filled the air. No one clapped, but no one objected. Not even Varric. Kara stepped forward, took the new insignia, and said only one word, accepted. Power shifts quietly that evening. Something subtle happened. Kara sat in the training yard, Thrall beside her. One by one, cadets approached. Not to challenge her, but to ask questions. How did you bond with him? Are humans really as weak as the rankings say? Would you ... train with me? Even a Bracken, tall, scarred, proud, knelt before her and said, I want to learn from you. Kara nodded. I don't want to rule you, she said. I want to survive with you. And that's when it began. The shift from mocking to following. Somewhere far from the academy, deep in a hidden warship orbiting a dead star, a cloaked figure watched the footage again. She survived, the voice crackled. She controls one of our greatest weapons, and now she's gaining loyalty. Another alien stepped forward, wearing the robes of a lost empire.
Oh.
Do we strike again? No, the first replied. We wait. We let her rise, and when she stands highest, we cut her down. Asterisk, they failed to kill her once. But failure doesn't stop the powerful. Now they send shadows. No honor, no rules, just death in the dark. But they forgot one thing. You don't hunt a human who already walks with monsters. Asterisk nightfall at the academy. It was near midnight. The lights dimmed. Only red guidance strips lit the corridors of the Zarn Dominion Academy. In her room, Kara sat cross-legged, eyes closed. Breathing steady, across from her, Sral sat still, massive and deadly, but unmoving. Silent, watching the door like a sentinel. But even Sral couldn't feel everything. The dream cut. Short Kara dreamed of Earth, cold snow. Her younger sister laughing in the fields of the old world. Then she woke instantly. Not because of a sound, because of silence. Total silence. No hum from the power grid, no ventilation buzz, no guard drones hovering in the halls, just stillness and darkness. Then Sral's ears twitched. A growl, deep and low, rumbled from his chest. They're back, Kara whispered. No time to hide, this wasn't like before. The first assassins came with arrogance. Loud, fast. This time, they were ghosts, black-cloaked. No heat signatures, no digital signals. Even Sral had trouble tracking them. Kara reached under her cot and pulled out a makeshift pulse blade. Not standard issue, human-made, fast, sharp, and silent. Sral growled louder now, a warning, not a challenge. From above, something dropped. A figure 8 limbs, cloaked in black, slashed downward with dual plasma daggers. Sral intercepted midair, claws clashing with sparks. Another attacker rolled through the shadows, aiming straight for Kara. She ducked, spun, and drove her blade straight into the figure's side. It screamed, but no sound came out. A silent death, too silent system. Lockdown. Kara reached for her comm unit. Dead, no signal. She moved to the wall panel, tried to access security. Locked out. Whoever sent the assassins had complete control of the building's systems. They planned this, Kara muttered. Someone on the inside. Sral snarled again, louder this time. We're not getting help, Kara said. We fight alone. Halls become a maze they ran. Not to escape, but to draw the hunters away from other cadets. Kara led Sral through storage corridors, underground tunnels, even vent shafts barely wide enough for a human. At every turn, another ambush. The attackers weren't soldiers, they were exterminators. No flags, no emblems, just one mission. Eliminate the human. In one narrow hallway, two more cloaked figures cornered them. One aimed a bioacid rifle. The other held a spike launcher designed to pierce armored exosuits. Sral took the hit hard. Bioacid splashed across his flank. He roared in pain. Kara rushed forward and tackled one attacker. Off balance, slamming her elbow into its throat. Then spinning behind the other and jamming her blade upward into its neck. Both dropped. Sral stumbled, acid hissing on his side. "No," Kara said. "Don't fall now. Not yet." She tore fabric from one of the attacker's cloaks, wrapped his wound, and injected a pain suppressor stim. "Stay with me, Sral. I still need you." The betrayal revealed they reached the old maintenance bay, long-forgotten part of the academy used before the AI automation upgrades. Inside, Kara activated a hidden console. Bypass codes from her first week on base still worked. She had memorized them just in case. The screen flickered on CCTV logs. Internal comms. Hidden files, she searched, and then she found it. A transmission, encrypted, sent from Commander VEK-4 to an unknown frequency. It read, "Subject Voss is destabilizing the command structure. She has influence, control. We cannot allow her to survive this phase. Use elite quiet operatives. Blame it on anti-human extremists, if discovered." Kara's eyes narrowed. "It wasn't just fear," she said, "but they want control. They want the story to stay the same. Humans were supposed to be weak, predictable, disposable. But Kara broke that lie. So now, they wanted her gone? Fight." Through the blood alarms finally returned. Sral growled. Systems. Oh, we're back online. But it wasn't safety. Now, it was chaos. Dozens of cadets woke to sirens. Lockdown protocols triggered across every level. Fires started in some halls. Explosions rocked the outer docks. Whoever tried to kill, Kara had failed again, and now they were covering their tracks. Kara sprinted through the smoke-filled corridors, Sral limping beside her. A final squad of assassins blocked their path to the command wing. This time, Kara didn't hesitate. She didn't wait for Sral to lead. She ran forward, jumped into the fray. Blade out. Screams followed by mourning. The attack was over. Cleanup teams found 12 dead assassins, all unregistered. None were tied to any known. Government Commander Jellic called an emergency tribunal. Kara stood in the center of the high chamber. Blood on her armor, Sral by her side. Still wounded, but alive. The chamber echoed with voices of alien leaders from across the sector. "You broke protocol. You attacked elite units. You caused chaos." But Kara stood tall. "No," she said. "I survived chaos. And I found your traitor." She uploaded the transmission. The message from VEK-4 appeared in front of everyone. Gasps, shock, silence. The council stared at her. Jellic spoke last. "Lieutenant Kara Voss, do you have anything else to say?" She looked at them all, then nodded once. "You wanted to test a human? Congratulations. You just learned what one really is. Asterisk. They tried to silence her. They tried to erase her. But now she has the proof. And in a galactic court built to judge her species, a single human stands alone against ancient empires, against elite commanders, and against the lies that built the galaxy itself. The trial has begun. Asterisk, the court is called. The Grand Tribunal was rarely used, only for species-level crimes, betrayal, war, genetic violations. Now, for the first time in centuries, it had summoned a human, Kara Voss. She stood alone in the center of the massive round chamber, surrounded by glowing seats that rose like a tower. Each level held observers, commanders, species representatives, and judges from across the known empires. Behind her, a large holodisplay showed images from the attack. Assassins, blood, mercenaries. Beside her stood no defense team, just Sral. Wounded but alert, one predator. One human, the judge, a neural-merged elder of the Zarn Dominion, spoke. We're charged with violating the laws of military conduct, unleashing unauthorized biological weapons, and inciting violence within a sovereign institution. Kara didn't blink. I understand. They tried to twist the truth. Commander Vekfor was first to speak, still wearing polished armor. Hiding his fear with pride, he stood on the upper ring. This human brought chaos to our ranks. Her control over the predator was unnatural. Threat. Her presence divides the cadets, encourages rebellion, and destabilizes centuries of order. He raised a claw toward her. She should be removed. Permanently. Others murmured in agreement. The insectoid speaker clicked his mandibles. We welcomed humans to observe, not to take command. A Bracken general growled. She did not win her place. She manipulated beasts. Kara's answered. Kara finally spoke calmly, clearly. I didn't ask to lead. Y'all forced me to. Survive. She raised her hand and activated a file. Here's the transmission from Vekfor, authorizing my assassination. The screen played the message again. Gasps echoed. The trial leader pounded the core crystal. Order. Kara stepped forward. You let someone try to kill a cadet, and when I survived, you blamed me for the fight. You say I broke rules, but what rules protect a student from murder? If my species wasn't human, would this trial even exist? Silence. The other species react unexpectedly. One of the lesser-ranked species, the Alari. A smaller amphibious race stood. Their representative's voice was soft but firm. We've been mocked too, he said. Pushed down in the rankings for cycles. But she fought with us. Trained with us. Taught us tactics the elite ignored. Another voice, a crystalline being, spoke. She showed us how humans fight with mind, with defiance, with honor. One by one, others began to stand. Not the high empires, but the forgotten ones. The ones who had no voice. Now they spoke. She has earned her place. Sral speaks then, something no one expected. Silence since the trial began rose to his full height. He turned slowly to face the council, and then he bowed, not in submission, but in respect, toward Kara. It was a display of loyalty rarely seen. And then, through the translation node, a rough, deep voice echoed, She is not my master. She is my equal. Shock swept through the chamber. She does not control me. She walks beside me. The verdict, the elder judge leaned forward. Lieutenant Voss, your actions, while unorthodox, were not in violation of any codified interspecies conduct. You were targeted illegally. You survived. You protected others. And you exposed corruption in our own command. He paused. Your record is cleared, and your status elevated. Kara frowned slightly. Elevated. The judge stood. From this day forward, by unanimous vote of the independent species council, you are now a field commander of joint operations. Gasps turned into murmurs. Effective immediately. Vekfor has taken security. Drones moved. Vekfor stepped back. Wait, but it was too late. The tribunal's enforcers surrounded him. His claws lit with energy. He tried to flee. Rahl took one step forward and growled. Vekfor froze. He dropped his weapon. This isn't over, he spat. Kara stared at him coldly. It's just beginning. Post-trial shift after the trial. Kara walked out of the chamber not alone, but flanked by cadets from across 10 species. Some still feared her, but many now respected her. More importantly, they believed her. That night, as Kara stood on the command deck of the Academy's orbital ring, a red light flashed on her datapad. Classified transmission. Priority 1. To Field Commander Kara Voss. Deep Space Probe. Zeta 49 has confirmed activity beyond the rim. Nykral life forms. Active. Engage Operation Spark immediately. Earth Command grants full tactical authority. Kira stared at the stars beyond. Sral stepped beside her. They're coming, she whispered. Then let them, Sral growled. Asterisk, it started as a whisper, ships disappearing, colonies going dark, entire systems silent. But now the silence has a name, the Shadow Fleet. Ancient, silent, hungry, and Voss just became humanity's first line of defense. Asterisk, the debrief. Kara stood inside the war room aboard the Zarn Academy's orbital station. The curved walls were lined with real-time holographic star maps and encrypted war logs. The room was sealed. Only High Command officers were allowed here. Gellick watched her closely. So did 6 other species commanders, including 2 from the independent Rim worlds, 1 from the Sakari Intelligence Council, and the Alari representative who had defended Kara during the tribunal. On the main screen, probe Zeta 49's final transmission, static, distortion, then a single image, a black fleet, dozens of ships. No heat signature, no ID codes, just cold, jagged metal floating toward a dying star. The Shadow Fleet, Kara said quietly. Gellick nodded. They do not speak, they do not warn, they erase. Silence before Warthoprobe had tracked the ships across the galactic edge, past 3 dead systems. Not one distress signal had been sent. When Kara asked why Earth Command wasn't responding directly, the answer came in one word: blocked. Whoever controlled the Shadow Fleet had found a way to jam subspace communications across entire quadrants. And then, another signal, this time from a border colony, Tarsas VII. It lasted for seconds. Screamed in silence. The Shadow Fleet had reached inhabited space. Kara takes command. Kara was given full tactical authority. But no one expected her to actually lead. So she shocked them again. She activated a dormant unit called Phoenix Protocol 3, an emergency response plan built during humanity's first contact war, but never used. It called for multi-species strike groups, stealth infiltration, and joint command, and at its center, a human commander trusted by predators. The council resisted, but when Sral stood beside her again, silent, loyal, terrifying, the votes flipped. We need something new to survive this, said the Alari. Something ... human, assembling. The Team Kara's first act, recruit a cross-species tactical squad. Rilok, a cybernetic assassin from the Chromium Belt, expert in ship infiltration and stealth kills. Inkiri, a 6-limbed Alari engineer who could hotwire alien tech mid-combat. Dravik, a disgraced Bracken heavy weapons specialist looking for redemption. Void, a dead region where signals vanished. Their mission: board the derelict. Retrieve intel. Find out what happened. The ghost ship. They reached the drifting ship, a massive colonial freighter called the Juno's Mercy. No response. No life signs. Kara docked manually, entered first. The air was stale. Lights flickered. Gravity was off. Bodies floated, not decomposed. Drained. Then, a sound low, metallic. The team spread out. Inkiri stayed near the core to pull data. Dravik guarded the hatch. Sral scouted ahead with Kara. And then, they found the message. Burned into the hull of the bridge with plasma scorches. We saw them in the dark. They didn't speak. They just watched. Then, they opened us. They are not machines in. Kiri cracked the last security file. Kara watched the recording. The crew of the Juno's Mercy had seen the Shadow Fleet at first. They thought it was just a patrol. No response. No movement. But when the ships got close, they phased through the freighter's shields without impact, like ghosts. And then, the doors opened. But what emerged weren't drones or robots. They were living machines. Half organic, half metal. No heat. No thoughts the AI could detect. Just intent. And when one looked directly into the ship's camera, it smiled. Escape. In ambush, the team rushed to exfil Bata, but the Shadow Bata fleet had already followed the signal. The ship shook. Hull breach alarms screamed. From the shadows of the docking bay, something moved. One of the living machines, tall, blade-thin limbs. Skin like liquid steel, it stepped forward silently. Kara held position. It didn't speak, didn't run. It studied her. And for a moment, Kara felt something terrifying. Recognition. It knows me, she whispered. Schroll lunged. The machine vanished in an instant into thin air. Dravik fired blindly into the shadows. Kara activated the escape sequence back aboard their ship. Kiri finished uploading the data to Kara's console. She scanned it fast. Coordinates, patterns, star-dash charts. But then, a code string at the bottom of the recovered files. Human origin command signature detected. Voss.Ark-Protocol.001. Sral looked at her. This isn't the first time you've seen them, he growled. Kara didn't answer. She couldn't, because deep inside, a buried memory flickered. A cold metal room, a machine that smiled, and a voice that said, "One day, you will return." Asterisk, she thought it was over. She thought the trial proved everything. But the real enemy never stood in that courtroom. The real enemy was watching from the shadows. And now, as a ghost ship whispers a name only she should know, Kara Voss must face a terrifying question. What if the Shadow Fleet didn't just come for the galaxy? What if they came for her? Asterisk, this is the truth they buried. This is the memory that was erased. And it's coming back. Asterisk, the code that shouldn't exist back aboard the mobile command cruiser Midnight Lance. Kara stared at the recovered code from the derelict ship, Voss.Ark-Protocol.001. She hadn't heard those words since she was 6 years old, not since the Ark project. Classified Earth initiative she was never supposed to remember. The file was locked. Not even Sral's slicing claws or Inkiri's hacking skill could crack it. Only Wara's biometric signature unlocked it, and what it revealed changed everything. Earth's secret past the Ark Protocol was a black-budget experiment. Buried deep within early human galactic exploration, it began with a signal discovered near the event horizon of Sector Zeta. The signal wasn't natural. It was a warning, or a trap. The Ark project sent one team, one ship. Kara's parents were on that ship. She had been a child aboard, hidden in cryo during the expedition. Everyone else disappeared. But the mission logs now showed something else. They didn't vanish. They were taken, studied, and something was copied. The living machine that knew Heron, the bridge of the Midnight Lance. The AI detected a proximity echo. No. Ships visible, but something was there, watching then. From the black void of space, a single object decloaked. A pod. No weapons. No signals. Just a slow, spinning container, blinking with faint white light. Kara ordered it brought aboard inside. Humanoid figure, metal body, organic eyes. It looked human. But it wasn't. It stood, staring at Kara. Then it spoke in her mother's voice. "Hello, Kara. You finally came home." It's not just AI. It's memory. The machine introduced itself as Echo, a construct born from neural data, recovered during the Ark mission. It had her mother's voice, memories, even parts of her emotions. Echo explained. The Shadow Fleet are not invaders. They're survivors of failed experiments. Fragments of species long extinct. Bound together in a prison of code, we woke them up. Echo paused. And you, Kara? You carry the final key. Your DNA was encoded as a failsafe, a shutdown command. That's why they follow you. Sorrel stepped forward, claws raised. You made her a weapon. Echo didn't flinch. You made her the only one who could stop them. Sral stout. Kara's Ragjasral didn't trust it. Machines that lie, codes that bleed. I smell death. But Kara felt something else. Anger. Not at Echo, but at the lies. At Earth's command. At every species that buried the truth. Cold. Her weak mocked humanity, while hiding how dangerous she really was. She stood tall. I'm not your failsafe. I'm not your experiment. I'm going to end the Shadow Fleet. And then I'm coming for everyone who knew. The machine's warning. Echo staggered. Systems glitching. They know you found me. They're on the move, and they're not alone. Suddenly, the ship's alarms screamed. Multiple warp shadows. 12 Shadow Fleet vessels. Decloaking all. Around them, too fast, too close. The fleet wasn't probing anymore. It was hunting. And Kara's scent was on the stars. We have to run, shouted Enkiri. No, Kara said. She looked out the view window as the black ships approached, their hulls pulsing with cold light. We're going to fight. The Midnight Lance fired all engines, but the Shadow Fleet surrounded them in the chaos. Kara activated Protocol Omega, a deep space wormhole jump that could only be used once. Echo warned her, if you jump now, you'll be alone. You'll leave them behind. Kara turned to Sral, Relok, and Kiri, and Dravik. They all looked at her, and without hesitation nodded. We follow you. Kara slammed the command key. The ship vanished. The Shadow Fleet followed. But Echo remained behind, watching the stars flicker and whispering into the dark the final memory. Waits at the edge of the galaxy. This is the end. But it didn't begin with war. It began with memory. A child forgotten. A warning ignored. A weapon disguised as a rookie. Now the stars are burning. The Shadow Fleet is here. And Kara. Voss holds the last piece. This isn't a battle for survival. It's a battle for the truth. The truth that was erased. Asterisk warped into a graveyard. The Midnight Lance tore through the wormhole. When they emerged, they were floating in total silence. A broken galaxy, dozens of shattered ships, drifted, human, alien, ancient. Every single one bore the same scorched mark. Remember us. And Kiri whispered, This isn't a battlefield. It's a tomb. Sral sniffed the vacuum. Through the sensors, they came here before. Long ago. This was their first feast. But now, this place was waking up, because Kara was here, and her memory was calling to them. The source, a dead star with a living coordinate's final coordinates, led to a collapsed star neutron mass surrounded by orbiting debris. At the center was a structure, the core archive. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a ship. It was a memory vault built by the first galactic civilizations, long before the Shadow Fleet inside it. A weapon too dangerous to use. A mind virus created to save the galaxy if the machines ever rose. But to activate it required something organic. Something with the lost neural signature of the Ark survivors. Only Kara had that key. The final decision. Kara stood in the vault. The virus pulsed in her hands. It wasn't just code. It was a living thought, a weapon that could delete everything the Shadow Fleet had ever learned. But there was a cost. If she activated it, her memories would be the price. Her mind would be erased to fuel the final blow. Dravik slammed his fist on the wall. There has to be another way. And Kiri tried to reroute it, but the protocols were locked. Only the Ark signature could finish it. Only Kara, and then the Shadow Fleet arrived. The memory war begins. Black ships phased in from every direction. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They just opened fire. But this time, Kara was ready. She launched a virus burst into the cum stream. The enemy paused for the first time confused. Then Kara spoke through the ship's speakers. You stole our minds. Now I'll take yours. She activated the core. The virus launched. Screams echoed across subspace ships. Began to turn on each other, the corrupted code unraveling them from inside. The memory war had begun, and Kara Voss, its weapon. One last vision as the virus spread. Kara's vision blurred. Memories faded. She saw her mother's face, her training days. In Kiri's smile, then dashed darkness, but in the center of the core archive, something moved, a light echo. You gave your memory to save the stars, it whispered. So now, I'll keep yours. Alive. Copy of Kara's mind, her final thoughts was, stored in the archive. Not a weapon, not a commander, but a story. To remind the galaxy of what humanity did when no one believed in them. The legend of Kara Voss months later. Peace returns. Shadow Fleet is gone. The Academy builds a statue in Kara's honor. She's called the Memory Blade. Sral becomes the first predator to teach at the Human War College. Kiri heads the new Alliance Tech Division, the Voss Project, and across every known system, her final words echo, asterisk, if they mock you, at them. If they doubt you, wait, then show them what a human can really do. Asterisk end of season 1. The alien elite mocked the human rookie.